And hello, welcome to the show. It is, I keep wanting to say Sunday because we used to do Sunday shows, but we don't do them anymore. It is Thursday, February 10th, 2022. Welcome back to the Ram Show. I'm here, Zach is here. Hi, Zach, how are you?
Average.
I'm waiting for you. You need to get a thesaurus. Thesaurus? Is that how you pronounce that out?
You said it right the first time.
Yeah, and like come up with like a new creative word every or like to filter through.
Standard, typical, nominal. What do you want?
I don't know. Anyway,
Right.
yeah.
Well,
So welcome back. What has been happening exciting in the world of management of computers?
nothing.
See, okay, this is what I wondered. Like, is there
Not
enough?
much exciting.
Is there enough in that job to make it exciting every day?
No, there's not. I work from home. I don't. If there's nothing exciting or nothing to do at all, I don't have to do anything.
That's like a perfect job for you.
It is. Yeah, it's been pretty good so far.
It's okay. Some of us have a higher work ethic.
Well, I don't know what you want me to do. Invent some work for myself. I do what I'm asked to do. If it's done, it's done. Great.
I
You want me to get on my knees and say, please, give some work, please, I'm just begging you for work.
If you have nothing to do, go find something to do.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, if you clean.
Oh. So, what are you learning? Anything neat?
Well, kind of, sort of. Mostly, I'm learning how much I hate the Intune company portal. It's literal garbage software, like just absolute trash. Like when we're testing these software deployments, it just comes up with all manner of creative ways to make it. What was the word you used? Interesting.
What?
That's putting it very nicely. Let's just say, when company portal works its magic, and if you came by my desk, you'd be forgiven for thinking a sailor sound.
So, okay. So, what kind of devices are you enrolling in your environment? Is it mostly Windows-based stuff?
Well, the company wants to have Android, iOS, and Windows all in one.
Okay, so I mean, those are going to be separate. They'll all be managed in
Intune
Intune.
does separate things for all three of those.
Yeah. So, are you responsible for? You're responsible for all things Intune, then?
I am not solely responsible, but
No,
yes.
but that's like your part of your job is so.
My job has almost exclusively been Intune so far, but also we have some patch management tools that I've had to dabble with a little bit.
Oh, like some RMM stuff.
Yeah, something like that.
I see. Cool. Yeah. So I've been playing around with Intune this week as well.
Oh, neat.
For the Mac side of things.
Ouch. Sorry to hear that.
My office has slowly been converted to Apple.
It's rough. How's that?
Look, okay, hang on. I don't hate the Apple ecosystem quite like you hate it. I'm just
For you,
saying.
I'm glad that you feel that way because you're being forced to use it, so it'd be good that...
I'm not being forced to use it. I volunteered.
Wait, so you're just doing your work with Apple devices now?
No,
That's it?
so...
I was gonna say, that seems like kind of...
No, don't worry. I still very much have my X1 Extreme. Don't worry.
Oh, an X1 Extreme. I don't even know what that is, to be honest.
That's my
What is that?
Windows system.
Oh, okay.
My ThinkPad X1 Extreme. That's the model.
Is there such a thing as an X1 not Extreme?
There's the X1 Carbon.
Oh, okay. Nice.
But anyway,
funny names.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so
Can I get an X1 Pro Max Ultra Edition? What about a Pro Max Ultra Premium Edition?
Oh my, taking a page out of Apple's.
Stab at Apple there,
yeah, taking a page out of Apple's playbook there.
Apple is far from the only company with cringeworthy branding.
This is true. Wow, now Intel with the 12 whatever it is, the naming convention used to make sense. Like the 4790K.
It's overstayed its welcome and is no longer welcome.
I mean, it could be as bad as NVIDIA. Ooh, the NVIDIA, 3090 Ti or whatever it is, which isn't even really all that awesome. More than a none.
Ti isn't. The 3090 Ti has basically been canned anyway.
Right, that's what I mean. The Ti literally means nothing anymore.
450 watts. Imagine that. Imagine putting that's basically putting a nuclear reactor in your computer. It's about as close as you can get.
So, no, I somewhat volunteered to... Look, okay, so we have Macs in our environment, right? We have users that run Macs, right? And as part of my position is onboarding new users. So that means onboarding users with
I hated doing
Mac
that.
devices.
I don't have to anymore.
You're also not a people person.
You just get the ding-dongs, the ding-dongs, the dumb users.
Okay, you're also just not a people person.
Not really, but...
See, I am. I like it.
I put on a smiley face and did it, okay?
I actually like it. I like onboarding people. It's way different doing them on a PC than it is doing them on a Mac. And I haven't actually done anyone on a Mac yet. I've sat in on one, and it was interesting. The particular user that we were onboarding had some particular requests that were slightly...
You're being polite.
I am being polite.
You're being very much more polite than you really truly feel about this.
Let me put it this way. We had given them a device, and they were asking for a new device already.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, we actually had not at my current job. We had a marketing person be brought in and immediately demanded a very expensive MacBook when presented with their computer. I actually believe that their department bought it for them. And they had to get IT leadership to sign off on that, and basically the conversation went as follows. You can buy a user this device, but we will not help them with it ever. Okay.
Interesting. This is at your current employer or your previous employer?
Old one.
Oh, your old one. Okay.
My previous employer, yeah.
Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, okay.
That's a non-standard device. None of the users at the company.
Yeah, so this particular user, they've been in the office a couple times. I think they rubbed one of the other people the wrong way initially. And I mean, due to their position, I think their position is actually a position that didn't exist before, so it kind of got created for them. Or we found a need to have that particular position. So anyway, so there may be some things where it's we just didn't typically have these things in place before. So the actual individual, though, is actually not a horrible person. So I think they're okay. Some of the requests have kind of been, from my standpoint, of ooh, it seems a little early to be asking for that, but that's just my opinion. We're giving you here's your computer, and you're already asking us for, a new one, where it's okay. But we've also had other users that have been like that too. We have a particular user that went from being a part-time employee to now a full-time employee, and they want an updated computer as well. So, which actually, I mean, we are in the process of rolling out new devices. And the thing about the Macs is that because we don't have a ton of them, our inventory of what we do have is limited. So, it's kind of like, hey, this is what we've got right now. Yeah. So
yeah, unfortunately, everyone on Earth's inventory of computing devices is pretty limited right now. Yeah.
I have a very good stack of a really, really, really good stack of X1 Extremes in my warehouse right now.
Extremes.
Yeah, the X1 Extremes. So these, the thing about these systems is so somebody else that I was talking to, they were like 60% of our user base is like developers. And so they need a beefier system that has some beefier hardware in it so they can run VMs and stuff like that. The X1 Extremes are a decent system, but they're not the type of system that a developer would want to be using because they're just not built for that. So they're more for like our clerical staff or staff that doesn't need to do development work and run virtual machines basically on. So that's probably why I have a huge stack of them. Our development machines, yeah, I'm running low on those. Like we still have a fair few number of them, but not anywhere. I probably have double the X1 Extremes that I do of my developer systems. So, yeah. Anyway, and then we are in the process of like phasing out some of our older development systems right now too. So, I actually
shocking computers being limited in 2022. Wow.
Really? I did have
Do you have trouble ordering them? Do you have trouble getting them to come in?
I don't know. It sounded like the last time we ordered systems, it was like 6 months.
Oh yeah, that sounds about like my last job. They constantly were complaining about the lead time on this, that, and the other thing is so long, so long, so long. I mean, it was just like a excuse for sites at that point. Like, I'm sorry, we would love to give you a new computer, but it will literally take us like 6 months to get it. So.
I think that...
And the inventory that we have is already accounted for, so I'm sorry, you can't have one.
I think that my employer does a decent enough job of planning these things out. We were talking about this in our weekly meeting this week.
All right. Well, yeah, everything got planned out. It was just that, like, when the sites complain, like, this computer is not slated to be replaced, but it's just terrible. And you look at it and like, yeah, that's pretty bad, but I got nothing for you. Sorry.
Yeah, so I don't know how old... I don't know how old our oldest stuff is. But it's still, like, stuff that is very usable. Like, we will end up more than likely retiring the systems and then giving staff the option to purchase those devices. And they're still very usable devices.
Giving staff the option to purchase the tired devices for personal use?
Mm-hmm.
Huh, that's funny.
What is?
That you do that. I don't know, it seemed odd.
What, that we offer them to our employees afterwards?
I'm surprised. What's odd is that they don't just get thrown away. Because that's what most places seem to do. Bye-bye.
I think some will probably get thrown away. We have some older inventory, but we do also give the option for our employees to purchase the devices if they want.
I frequently went into the trash to see what kind of cool things my employer had thrown away.
Yeah, so we don't like actually. I think the last time there was a purge, it was like one. I keep hearing it referred to as the Great Purge. Because like a bunch of stuff was just saved up and then they purged it all at one time.
Well, when they do, you should make a point of going through it. Find some cool stuff.
I know that we have a project in the works. So my entity is a software developer company, right? And so we used to host our clients' projects out of our building. And so we had a very large data center, I'm sure filled with a fair few number of systems.
I'm sure, yeah.
And there's about, I think, 5 racks in there right now. There's a rack for some network equipment, and then the other 4 racks are filled with like IBM servers and stuff like that. And we are.
That sounds like just the kind of hardware you can invent a problem for.
So actually, we've got brand new hardware that just has been purchased. I think there's like 4 or 5. How many boxes are there? There might be 6 boxes altogether, but we have some brand new Dell servers that just came in. And the plan is to condense the entire data center into a little telco room with 1 rack. And that will be our on-site stuff.
Indeed.
And that'll be it. So, yeah. And so I think when that ends up happening, the goal is after we move all that equipment, then we'll start going through the equipment that was in the what was it? The equipment that was in the data center and the equipment that is in our RT warehouse, I think. We'll have the different teams kind of gather together, and we'll go through a bunch of stuff and probably do a purge at that point. And it sounds like there is a possibility of being able to, take some of that equipment, possibly. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like yet.
It always grinding my gears when I hear about companies being like, oh yeah, we're throwing this away, but you can't have it. It has to be thrown away. Like, what? What are you talking about? You'd rather throw this in the trash.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the rules
are. I kind of
are.
get why they do it, but like, really, I'd often hear stuff like, you can have it, just don't tell anybody.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are going to look like for that in terms of our particular entity, but anyway, yeah. I'm hoping to maybe pluck a server out of the deal that I can...
You should.
Do some stuff with. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah. Because
I'm hoping to catch when it actually happens that my current employer throws out its several racks at the site that I work at. I'm pretty sure they're all turned off right now, and the boss casually mentioned, oh yeah, we're throwing all this stuff away, and I was just perusing like, oh, it's cool.
So
there's some neat stuff in there. I could use some of that. I don't know what I'd do with it, but I'll invent a problem for it, trust me.
So does your particular entity still... So you're using Intune, right? Does your particular entity still utilize like an on-site AD server and...
as far as I'm aware, yes, but they're in the process of moving over to Azure.
And are they going to phase out AD? Because Azure is not a replacement for AD yet.
I think it's in the works. I don't know how long it will be, nor is it.
So my particular entity's
I'm involved with. So
my particular entity's roadmap, I think, is looking similar to, or is looking at. Eventually, we would like to use Intune to manage all of our devices in terms of imaging them and wiping them, and then I think the plan is to completely eradicate Active Directory at some point from our entire entity. Yeah, I don't know what that looks like at that point.
Yeah, nice.
But those are the rumors that I've heard. Now, whether or not we actually follow through with some of that, I have no idea. Anyway, but no. So part of what I've been doing this week is playing with Intune and figuring out, like I said, how we image the Macs, kind of, how we get them set up. So I guess we buy our Macs with like a special... You can buy them like sort of somewhat-ish pre-configured, and basically...
Yeah, some companies that sell that stuff will... Likely what happens, or at least what happens with ours, is when we buy them, they phone home and say, am I owned by anyone?
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft goes, yep, you're owned by whoever. And then
Yep. So they're
After
when we
that,
purchase them,
it points to the management server, and then
yeah. So when
there
we
you go.
purchase them, they automatically get enrolled into. They don't. They're like sitting in like a ready to be deployed state in Intune, basically. Like they're there, but they're not actually being managed by Intune yet. They're available to be enrolled in Intune, I guess, and there's a list of them. So, it's like Apple Business something.
Apple Business Manager, yeah.
Yeah, Apple Business Manager. So whoever we buy them from has something, it's already set up with like Apple Business Management or whatever. And so then they just show up.
So in Apple Business Manager, all you have to do is it's just a few button clicks. You just tell it where to point the devices when they phone home is basically what happens.
Yeah, so apparently ours already are, when we buy them, they're already enrolled in that or something like that. I don't know. I don't have to deal with any of that. So I just know that I turned on the Mac and started setting it up, and it was like, hey, please sign into the company portal.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. Or please sign into your Microsoft account. So I did that. And then the company portal is forced onto it. And then you sign into that.
The company portal.
And then you sign into that. And then you assign it a profile. And once the profile is assigned, then it installs our RMM software. And once our RMM software is in there, then we can push out other software to it. So, anyway. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing with this week. Last week I was playing with Max, because, like I said, we have some users that need access to them, but they need to be able to do it remotely, and we're still playing with that. So anyway, in other news, in the home sphere of things, right? So I have a number of IoT devices, on the network, right? So I've got Chromecasts. I've got, actually, I don't know if I can actually do this. No, I can't, not without unplugging it first. So, Zach, you're going to be like, really? Yeah, RGB strips. I'm starting to explore those.
Oh, God, why?
So actually, okay, look, I'd like to do some mood lighting. I want to actually add, some of the LED strips to the back of my monitor for backlighting on it, just because I think it'll look neat.
Well, you know what? Actually, I take that back. You know what? Whatever makes you happy. Sometimes it's the little things.
But I'd also like to implement them into other areas. Ideally, like once I have my own place, like a home that I actually own, I'd love to do RGB lighting in different areas of a home, like in a kitchen.
And that's a bit whack.
No, like in a kitchen, under cabinets and stuff like that, for like...
Okay, that'd be neat, I suppose.
Right, for like night lighting and stuff like that. So like, you could set a scene and the lights would turn, you could do something simple like white, but then you could also do like, at night, you could do like a blue or something like that or whatever. So it's just to add a little flair, I guess.
I'm supposed to avoid blue light at night because it stops you from sleeping.
I know, it was the first color that popped to mind.
Okay.
But
yeah, I'm sure why not. I
anyway,
wouldn't do anything like that, but yeah.
So what I found, right? So I want to be able to control all these things from one place, and so I'm starting to pick up more devices because I want to start playing more with Home Assistant. And learning how it works and start doing cool stuff with it. And so from what I found, right, there is a number of different vendors out there that make smart devices. So what did I do? I went to Menards the other day and I picked up a set of RGB lights under their Patriot brand. And by the way,
are they red, white, and blue?
Yeah, so RGB, right? But then, RGBW.
But are they red, white, and blue? You said they're patriots, so.
Oh.
Patriotic, right?
I get it. Anyway,
garbage joke, I know.
I get it.
Garbage.
Anyway, so what I found out about those is unless the Wi-Fi range on them is not very good.
No, that doesn't surprise me.
So if they're close to the router, they're fine. Otherwise, they have trouble connecting. So then I went to Walmart and I looked at what they had. They have their Meraki brand. And it's got a little bit bigger hub. This one has been sitting in my room around the area where I'm going to have it, or would like to have it, and it's been fine. It hasn't had any problems, right? And then the lamp that's behind me, the one on the bookshelf, is being powered by a smart switch made by a company called Genie, or at least it's being branded by Genie, right? Here's the awesome thing, though, is if you use the Tuya app on your phone, you can actually control all three of these different branded devices from the one app. And there's an integration for the Tuya app into Home Assistant. So that's really awesome. So I actually have a guy at work who's done something really neat. He put an LED strip around the door frame of his like outside door. So he can just set different colors around it, which is actually kind of neat. I've seen it before. So yeah. Anyway, I'd consider doing an RGB like baseboard around a room or something like that. I just think it would look neat. So
I could imagine a few scenarios.
Yeah. For me, I would use it more for like uplighting or something like that. So be kind of neat in like a movie theater room or something like that, where you could do some uplighting with it and set it to like a nice warm color or something.
Oh yeah, everybody's got a movie theater, don't they?
But anyway, so what I discovered about this though is, so a long time ago I was like, okay, so I'm going to have these IoT devices on my network, right? Well, they should probably be separated from my regular home network, right? So I set up a separate network for the IoT devices, right? So whole different IP address range, different subnet, right? And I'm thinking in my mind, okay, this is enough. They shouldn't be able to talk to each other. Well, the other day I'm doing some playing. This was like literally a couple weeks ago. It was like Monday or Tuesday. I'm doing some playing, and I'm like, well, for kicks and giggles, I'm going to put my laptop on the guest network, and I type in the IP address of my Proxmox server. And wouldn't you know, happy as ever, hey, here's the Proxmox login screen.
Oops.
Yeah! I was like, wait, what is going on here? So apparently when you create new networks in Ubiquiti equipment, it apparently doesn't separate them by default. They can just all apparently talk to each other.
Well, I guess now all the hackers who have owned your IoT devices have been in there all along.
Yep, up until a couple days ago when I realized this and I set firewall rules to block all of that. My, wasn't that an adventure? So I blocked all the traffic from the IoT network to the main network, right? And I'm like, okay. But, this creates a problem now, right? Because my Chromecasts are on my IoT network, and my phone, which is used to control the Chromecasts, is not on that network.
Well, yeah, and if you want to use if you want to use your Home Assistant to control the lights as well, you're going to have some traffic between them.
Actually, no. So Home Assistant, most of the devices that I have are running through the internet. So it actually makes a call out to the internet. I don't love that, but
yeah, it seems a little weird, but whatever.
It's not so much that it's reaching out to the internet like that. I'm okay with. It's the fact that they're relying on a cloud service. I prefer to have everything run from inside the house if possible, not be cloud based. But anyway, Well, this actually does still work, right? So if I pull up a Chromecast right now, I can actually cast from my phone to the Chromecast, and they're still on separate networks. So I basically blocked all the traffic and then went through and figured out what it was that I needed to actually open up, like what ports and stuff, and just open up those specific ports. So I had to open up a couple ports that allow the Chromecasts to at least broadcast themselves to the main network so that the devices can find them. So I did that. And then once the connection is established between them, there are rules in there that basically say, hey, look, my phone from this network initiated a connection to you. Like, you're fine to talk to each other, but you can't initiate the conversation to my phone. Like, that doesn't work. So, anyway. So then, I also have Plex running in the house, right? So, I went to go watch something from Plex last night. And wouldn't you know, I could load the Plex app, but I couldn't start any content.
Probably because the Plex app goes out to the internet, but then as soon as it starts trying to stream something from your actual server in the house, it needs to go peer-to-peer now, and now that's not going to work you good.
Well, yeah, so I could load the Plex app because I had allowed the system. Yeah, I don't know where the Plex app actually lives.
Well, Plex does, talk out to the internet.
It does, unless it's on your home network, right? Because
but it still goes onto the internet because, you still have an account with them and you still have...
And if that was the case, it would have worked then. Because the guest network, or not the guest network...
But the actual content doesn't go through Plex's servers, is the point.
No, but it can go through the internet. So, like, if I can't talk now.
But if you're at home, it won't want to do that.
Right. If I'm at work, though, I can actually access all my content, right? Yes. But yeah, so it wasn't working. And then I had that epiphany where I was like, oh yeah, I probably need to open the port to that so I can talk to it and stream the content. So, anyway. But now I feel safer, knowing that I have some separation in there. And I have now gotten a little experience playing with firewall rules. So, yay!
Yeah.
So, I mean, networking has always kind of been an interesting thing to me. The next thing I really want, like the next tech piece of equipment, toy, if you will, that I want to buy is like a 24 port managed switch from Ubiquiti. So I can start playing around with that and start doing some VLAN stuff.
I actually came upon an 8-port managed HP switch recently, and I don't have any real use for it, but I'm just going to keep it around and see what becomes of it, I guess.
I have an older HP switch that is manageable, but it's only 10100.
Ouch.
Yeah, but I mean, the theory was like, hey, it's at least a switch, and it's a manageable switch, and I can have it to do some playing with. And then I decided to go gigabit, and so now everything in the house is gigabit. So
as it should be.
Yep. But I'll go for a Ubiquiti switch when I finally do make that decision. See, I'm the type of person that, like, when I finally have a home that I can do what I want with, I'll also have, like, probably security cameras and other things like that. And all the security cameras will also be on their own separate VLAN. So they're all separate too, from everything else. And of course, more firewall rules, blocking stuff from talking to certain things, but other things can talk to other things. So, and I'll probably do like IP based, cameras. So having a switch that I can, VLAN out things on, will be good. So, but then like I've got some smart hubs and things like that too, that are currently living on their IoT devices that are currently living on my home like my main network right now. And I would like to also separate those out as well, using using VLANs and stuff. So anyway, I get into this stuff a little bit more than you do. So
I know.
Let's take a look at a couple of quick tech topics. Apple's latest update should fix MacBook's battery drain issue, Zach.
They had those issues?
Yeah, so Apple has released an update to solve the battery drain issues some Mac users experience since upgrading to macOS 12.2. The release notes for this version say it contains fixes for an issue for Intel-based Mac computers that may cause the battery to drain during sleep when connected to Bluetooth peripherals. That's actually really interesting because I thought the intended behavior of Macs, at least, and probably other devices, is to turn all that stuff off when the device goes to sleep. So, yeah, maybe it was a bug that wasn't actually doing that. Anyway, before Thursday's update, some users reported their MacBook batteries would drain while the computer was asleep. I mean, yeah.
I've actually had work laptops do that. I had a Dell that would do that at my last job, and this ThinkPad does it too. I get home from work, I didn't put it on the charger, it was just closed and asleep, whatever, I don't care. I don't need it till tomorrow. And then get up next day, oh, it's dead. Why is it dead? What has it been doing all night?
Are you sure it's actually going to sleep?
Yes, I thought so. I mean, isn't that what happens when you close the lid most of the time?
Yes.
Default behavior? Because I never changed it.
Yes, unless it's not set up. Because I've had times where I have closed my computer and opened my bag up to realize that it's just been running in there.
Oh, I'm sure that's probably what happened. I just thought it was weird. Like, what the heck's it been doing? I haven't been bothered to investigate.
Just hot boxing in my bag,
Most of the time what I do when I'm at home is I just sit at my desktop and use the remote tool to log onto my work laptop. It's way better because, especially when I have to log on to the test machines too. I got all these screens, right? I don't have all those screens on my laptop.
So here's what I do. And this is a little bit different. So I have abandoned the multi-screen setup. Right? I no longer have a multi-screen setup anymore.
You use one screen.
I have an ultra wide now.
So do I. Doesn't stop me from having more.
Well, that's true. Yeah. But I have the ultra wide on my desk now, so that's all I use. Right? So this weekend when I'm doing maintenance.
Why not have two ultra wides?
Do what?
Why not have two ultra wides?
Oh my gosh, because I don't have room for that.
Yeah, you do. You can stack them vertically.
I don't have room for that.
Yeah, you can. What do you mean? Just a mount. A mount is all you need.
I have a shelf above this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So when we're...
That sounds like a you problem then.
Anyway, I've actually become quite accustomed to having the ultra-wide monitor because it gives me the same...
Monitor. Just one monitor. Like, what?
Because it still gives me the same screen real estate that I had before.
No, it doesn't. It gives you, well, a normal, a 21:9 ultra-wide is 1.5 times, a normal monitor. You need one of those, super mega ultra-wides to truly have two monitors side by side.
That's probably true. I think this is a 34-inch one.
I would love to have two of those, mega ultra-wides or just stacked vertically. Oh,
so this is awesome. This is 3440 by 1400.
You mean 1440 probably.
Or 1440, I'm sorry. Yep.
Yeah, so that is 1.5 1440 monitors, basically.
Anyway, I've become quite accustomed to this.
Well, it's actually not quite. No, it's not. No, it's not 1.5 1440p monitor. It's just a bit bigger than a 1440p monitor. If you do the math on that number of pixels, it doesn't come out to 1.5.
I do miss being able to have things on separate screens and actually denote that. But I've become quite used to this workflow because it's what I have at work too.
You can stack two windows side by side on an ultra wide pretty comfortably.
Right, yeah, exactly. But in terms of predefined separate screens, So like for something like OBS, I used to be able to tell it only look at the second screen. This doesn't do that, and there probably is some software out there that I could use to do that, but I haven't found anything. So that's the one thing I do miss, is that particular functionality.
One of your other screens again?
I probably could, but I'm so used to just using the ultra wide now that it's fine. And if I'm wanting to share stuff from like something else, like I mean, what I've basically done now is like, you know, I just use my capture card here to show a completely separate computer. So, for the show, which works really well. So, anyway, yeah. But no, so like this weekend when I'm doing server maintenance, I will set up my my Lenovo laptop to the side here because I have plenty of room for that. I have an HDMI cable that plugs into the back of the monitor already, so I'll just switch the monitor over to the other source. And then I have a USB switcher under the desk that the keyboard and the mouse plug into. So I'll just plug the USB cable that's also here into my my ThinkPad and switch over the keyboard and mouse to the other cable, and it'll basically be like I am using the desktop, except for I'm not. I'm using the laptop. So that's my solution.
I was thinking like, oh, I get a KVM switch maybe, but like I don't want to cable my desk for that. It's awful.
I do know somebody who has a KVM switch that is they're doing it with the dual monitor system.
Reasonable.
So I tried the KVM option with this and it didn't work very well for me. The monitor was not super happy, and because that is a very niche case where I have my work laptop connected to this, the solution that I have set up is it works great. So, but yeah, I'll just be working away this weekend on Saturday morning doing server upgrades.
I'm really sorry you have to work on Saturday.
Look, honestly, it's not.
You're getting paid sweet overtime.
No, I actually get to leave a couple hours. I got to leave like 2 hours early yesterday. So,
okay.
I get to adjust my hours that way. Honestly, it's really not that bad. It's basically just sitting here and babysitting servers while they do their updates. So like I can literally, and I don't even have to go in. Like I'm here in the house, like literally just clicking buttons and waiting for server updates to install. So like I click the button and then I go do something for a while and I periodically check on it. It's like, oh, hey, this one's done. Okay, now it needs to be restarted. So anyway, so it's not too bad. I can think of a lot worse things that I could be doing on a Saturday in terms of work. Like I used to actually have to go to a job on Saturdays and work for like 8 hours. So a couple hours in the morning babysitting servers, not a huge deal. Anyway, but yeah. Neato. Let's talk about this. Microsoft news. What did I pull? Oh yeah, Microsoft offers a 60% discount to Google Legacy G Suite customers. Zach?
Say again?
Microsoft is going to be offering a 60% discount to Google Legacy G Suite customers.
Oh, I really want to get that market share, huh, Microsoft?
They do. So Google announced last month that its plans to make free Legacy G Suite accounts pay for a subscription by May 1st. The move surprised a bunch of G Suite users that have been using the service with custom domains, and now Microsoft is trying to entice G Suite users to pay for Microsoft 365 instead of a 60% discount offer. Or with a 60% discount offer. I mean, That's just business right there. So if you're a small business that relies on G Suite, Legacy Free Edition, we couldn't help but notice you might be in the market for a new solution. Says the head of Microsoft 365. We've got news for you. Today, you can get a 60% discount on a 12-month Microsoft 365 Business Basic, Business Standard, or Business Premium subscription, along with the help you need to make the move. Okay, but it's only good for 12 months. So at the end of 12 months...
at the end of 12 months, you still have to pay the price. Screw that.
Yeah, you still have to pay the regular price. So, like, I don't know what an Office 365 subscription costs per month, but I'm sure that it is probably pretty on par with what G Suite is going to be. The offer is available on Microsoft's website, includes support for custom domains, Microsoft Teams access, Office apps, and OneDrive cloud storage. Microsoft is also including a year of Business Assist for Microsoft 365, which help businesses migrate to Microsoft 365 more easily. The offer is exclusive to G Suite Legacy Free Edition users who purchase a 12-month Microsoft 365 subscription by August 2nd. Let's see here. I don't know if this says... I don't think this says anything about price. So I don't know what... It's like $20 a month, give or take. Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, OneNote, SharePoint, OneDrive. Well, let's see. So if you're going basic, so probably actually this. Okay, so probably an Office E1 license, which is $8 a month. $8 a user per month, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does G Suite cost? And for Business Starter, G Suite is $6 a month, or Business Standard is $12 a month, which apparently looks to be the most popular. So, I mean, after your first year, like, is it really worth moving?
You tell me. I don't use any Office apps.
See,
I use what I have to.
That's what yeah. Okay, so at first I was like, ooh, okay, but then I saw it was only 12 months, and I was like, wait, hang on.
I mean, all the free stuff is good for me and on my personal terms. Anything I have to do on my own time, yeah, just Google Docs or. I guess if I needed something a little more advanced, OpenOffice is a thing. It's basically Word, it's basically Excel, it's basically PowerPoint, whatever. I don't know, we don't use PowerPoint anymore to use.
So, a teenager from Kansk, I probably just murdered that. Anyway, apparently from Russia, was sentenced to 5 years in prison in the case of the explosion of the SBF building in Minecraft.
I saw a couple of blurbs about that. I thought that was just kind of messed up. So this kid blew up a building in Minecraft and is being sent to prison. Is that it? That's it?
Okay, so the first Eastern District Military Court of the...
I'm fairly certain that most people who've played video games have done far worse things in their
apparently in
careers.
this territory was sentenced to 16-year-old Nikita Uvarov. Sorry, I just from someplace in Russia to 5 years in prison on charges of undergoing terrorist training?
This is ridiculous.
Terrorist training. That's apparently what they're calling this.
I guess terrorist training. Okay. I would really like to know though, like, who really genuinely thinks that putting a 16-year-old kid in prison for that is
Look, it's Russia.
not a waste of literally every single person involved's time.
Look, it is Russia and things are completely different there, but this is like, what? Apparently, 2 other teenagers involved in the case were released from punishment as they assisted the investigation. Oh my god!
This is to blowing up a digital thing.
The juveniles were accused of undergoing training for the purpose of carrying out terrorist activities.
Okay, well, I've played Grand Theft Auto, so am I gonna get in trouble for
Yeah, right. What?
everything?
I would argue that, like, I would argue that Grand Theft Auto is a way more, like.
So, okay, actually, let's ask the real questions. Is this kid at all related to any political dissidents by chance?
Okay, hang on.
Because that sounds like something that I can definitely imagine happening.
Okay, hang on. I gotta read this. So the juveniles are accused of undergoing training for the purpose of carrying out terrorist activities, as well as making and storing explosives.
Making and storing explosives, really?
According to investigators, the teenagers, in order to change the state and political system, or systems existing in the Russian Federation, were trained to carry out terrorist activities in the future, as well as to manufacture explosives and practice their use in an abandoned house on wastelands and construction sites. What? The defendants were detained in the summer of 2020 due to posting leaflets about somebody who was a graduate student at Moscow State University when they were 14 years old. In their phones, they found a correspondence in which they discussed how they wanted to blow up the SFB building in the Minecraft computer game.
So they're not only arresting a 16-year-old kid for crimes committed in a video game, but the kid was 14 when it happened?
Third defendant was placed.
All right.
The teenagers were accused of organizing a terrorist community.
Terrorism. Okay, great.
And undergoing training for the purpose of carrying out terrorist activities. But later, the case on the community was dismissed due to the absence of all 3 elements of a crime in the actions. The teenagers were not directly accused of organizing the explosion in Minecraft, but their correspondence was used by the investigators as evidence of training in terrorism. Yeah, what?
This is whatever. I would suspect there's probably an ulterior motive to why they are going after these kids, but
okay, let me see if I can figure out any more about this.
I just can't imagine any scenario in which every single person involved in this isn't wasting every second they spend involved in this. Like, why? What? Huh? I don't have anything else to say. Like, what am I supposed to say? Why? What? Huh? That's it. That's all I have.
Okay, so in summary, a teenager is sentenced to 5 years in prison for organizing to blow up this building in Minecraft, and the charges are based on the idea that Minecraft was used to practice the terrorism. Basically, like in the same way that Flight Simulator could be used in order to practice to train a 911 scenario.
Do you mean 9/11 scenario?
Well, there is no.
Because 911 is who you call when bad
No,
things
I think that's
happen,
actually
but-
I think this is actually what that means, is using Flight Simulator for training in terms of like a 911 scenario. This
You
doesn't
mean-
say no. This doesn't say, it doesn't have a slash in it. Maybe it does mean 9/11 scenario, but
It certainly does, because, like... whatever.
I just. I'm just reading comments on this right here. If you can get thrown in jail for blowing up a Minecraft building, GTA players are screwed. I just what? I don't get it. Oh, I thought I pulled this, but maybe I didn't. So the U.S. Is considering processing digital currency in addition to paper money. This isn't crypto related. It's about providing a public alternative to debit or credit cards, as they are all run by the private sector, presumably with no fees.
This sounds like a case of, like, the government getting jealous that they're not getting a cut.
Yeah, that could be. Since the establishment as the country's national currency, the dollar has undergone many updates and changes, but nothing compares to the proposal being debated today. The U.S. is gingerly considering whether to adopt a digital version of its currency, one better suited for today's increasingly cashless world, ushering in what could be one of the dollar's most fundamental transformations. In that scenario, the U.S. would not only mint the coins and print paper bills, but also issue digital cash or a central banking digital currency that would be stored in apps or digital wallets on our smartphones. Yeah, this sounds very familiar, Zach.
This sounds like, I mean, okay. I guess it could be a good idea, but there's definitely a lot of potential for things to go super duper duper wrong. Let's just say that.
It's a version of a cashless future that other countries are already embracing. China, for example, has unveiled the digital yuan or
Oh,
yuan
it's also a privacy night.
on a trial basis. India this week
Absolute
said it would create a
privacy
digital.
night. Literally anything you buy, the government gets to see what it was.
Yeah, there's probably some
So
truth to that.
that's actually probably a bad thing. Like, do we need that? Like, we already have a huge
Look,
number
okay,
of
if I wanna go
methods
to-
of making electronic payments.
Look,
Why do we
I
need
know.
one with
If I wanna go-
built-in government spyware?
If I need to go buy something, right?
Yeah.
I take my phone, I go to the store, I go tap. Hey, it's magically paid for.
And if that doesn't support that, then you get out your card and put it in, and okay, it's paid for. And if
Or
maybe if you don't want to use your card, you take out some cash.
I was
and
gonna
you
say-
here you go.
goodness gracious, you go for cash. I paid for
I
dinner
don't know.
tonight in cash.
This seems, I don't know. This just seems unnecessary. Like, okay, it's probably this really strikes me as the government, first of all, wanting its cut of crypto, and also probably wanting to throw a little spyware in the mix too, because they also don't like that crypto enables private transactions.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, for example, Monero is heavily used on dark web markets for illegal items because it can't be traced by the government as long as you use it correctly.
Gosh,
And
I
I'm
think
sure they hate it.
I think I
I'm
deleted
pretty sure
it.
there's a bounty on any method. Let's see. The IRS will pay you if you can figure out how to trace Monero transactions. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, they hate it, basically. They want people to use their flavor of cryptocurrency, I guess.
I don't know.
Now we just need to sprinkle a little bit of like, think of the children in here, and then it will pass, right?
I was gonna say I don't know if I have one right now. Periodically,
that's how they always pass all the spying stuff. Like, oh, think of the children. We're trying to catch pedos.
okay,
Periodically,
periodically,
pass that. The children, pass it.
periodically to my my TechMe Media email account, I get an email that comes from my email address, but it is very much somebody just using it, you know, like they have figured out a way to basically make it look like it's coming from my email account.
It's spoofed.
Right, yeah, they spoof it, right? But the best part is that when it comes through, let me see if I have one of these.
I'm sure it's just littered with typos and things that you would never say.
Oh yeah, so this one here, it says, from me, and it's got my email address in here. And then if I look at the security type up here, it's just plain. Which is like, wait, okay, first off, there's a red flag for me. It says plain. Like, I very much know that I have all of this configured to not use plain security.
Well, yeah, that's because this is meant to target non-tech savvy people.
I know. So the part that I love is that it is coming to my TechBee Media email address. It's like, yo, you're trying to scam literally a tech company. Like, you think we're that dumb? Anyway.
Well, I'm sure plenty of tech companies employ non-tech savvy people for various functions like administrative stuff and HR and whatever.
That could be.
Marketing. I don't know.
Anyway. Very much here, they make some claim about how, oh, hey, we've been watching you. Oh, look, here's the Trojan virus. And then it says, you might be thinking, oh, wait, but my PC has antivirus. Oh, well, our very sophisticated software has bypassed your antivirus. Stuff about taking videos. And then, yep, here it is, a Bitcoin address.
Okay. That's like a ransomware bluff, I guess. Like, yes, we definitely have all your files. So you should...
I just ignore these. I think when I ram one of these, received, authenticated. Let me run this IP address here and see. Search. Larga. I think that is... Where's Larga? I think this is like Nigeria, I think.
Does a Nigerian prince need your bitcoins?
Oh, no, this one looks like it's from Brazil. This is a Brazilian IP address. But it's just like... Oh, my. I keep seeing these, and I'm like... Yep, yep. Yeah, that's totally a real email. The more annoying thing is the fact that they've spoofed my email address, so I can't even really block these emails. So they just randomly... I mean, I'm sure I can find a way to block them if I really wanted to put some time and effort into it.
Well, you could just use your brain, too. I mean, that works.
Yeah, and so I see them come in, and I'm like, oh, well, delete. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I actually got one. Oh, what did I get one recently about? Let's see. It was about like trying to solicit web design services or something from me, and I'm like, don't have any of those, sorry. Spam? Oh yeah. Sandy wants to know about this. Okay, fair enough. Let's see. It's got ticks all the boxes. Grammar, horrible formatting. Like, this makes my eyes bleed. I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
So, I was going through my email the other day. I think it was this weekend, actually, on Sunday, for work. I was just like, what's going on? Or something like that. And I saw an email come in with an encrypted message in it. And I'm like, why am I getting an encrypted message? Especially from an email address outside of the company, organization, right? A big giant. Of course, our email client has it all set up where, there's a big giant banner up at the top that's like, caution, this email originated outside of the network, right? So I'm looking at this email and I'm like, the flip? And then so I look closer at it. I look at the header information of it and who it's coming from, and I see this odd address and I'm like, okay, what the flip is this? So I'm like Googling the domain name, and like everyone online is like, oh yeah, like don't click on links and like it's a scam. And I'm like, okay, cool, awesome. So I come back upstairs and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna quickly submit this as a phishing email to our security team, just in case it really is. Then they can start looking at it in the morning. So get my laptop out, open Outlook, click on the email, click the report button. I get a nice pop-up message on my computer. Hey, congratulations! You found an immersive like phishing test email, basically.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Our security department sends them out like monthly, just randomly. So
yeah.
I actually have fallen for a couple of them, and it was because they were way more sophisticated than the normal phishing emails that I typically see, and because I was so new to the company, they actually did somewhat look legitimate. So it was a little unfair. But anyway, yeah. I think I probably said it one time before, but yeah, we have one guy who like he just kind of like periodically clicks, or like he clicks on the report button like every time there's a new email.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I don't know if he actually really does that, but like he just clicks on like every email, he like clicks on the button, because if it's an actual phishing one that's been sent out, it will like pop up the congratulations thing right away. Otherwise, if it's not, there's like a second step that you have to go through before it'll actually report it. So, but kind of a funny idea. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to call it a show. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed it, thumbs up. You didn't, you know what to do. Thumbs down. Comment, get subscribed, all that fun stuff. Yeah, we'll